Well, good afternoon, folks. It's the real Captain Kirk here. It's Saturday, April 1st here. We're live from One Bethlehem Plaza here, where we had some stronger thunderstorms here this morning, our first of the year, really. And again, 70 today and going down to 50s again tomorrow. So cold front's coming through here. The retail 5-week calendar March, which started 26 February, ends today. 1 April is pretty much in the history books here, and it was cold. 1.7 colder than last year, coldest in 4 years, 13th coldest in 38 years, below average national temperatures. Snow was off the scale here, 120% more than last year, most in 30 years, second most in 38, so way above average nationally. And also rainfall, up 40% over a year ago, number one wettest in 38 years. So cold, wet, snowy, tornadoes, obviously way up, was the theme, and that's just bad for seasonal merchandise sales, retail sales overall. So a tough month, some hope here for March, or going into April, actually. Here today, the snow cover actually on the ground is 30% of the country. So again, we have to go all the way back to 2008 to have more snow on the ground. Last year, only about 15%. So again, still got some snow on the ground, and we're going to be adding to this, unfortunately, again, here this week for the same areas, Rockies, Plains, and far in New England. With the really snowy March, we've the season-to-date snowfall from 1 September through today is up 22% over last year, 4% below average, but now most in 4 years. So we've gone from the least in 10 to now the most in 4, still below average, but 18th least in 38 years. But pretty much about where we're going to end was the snowiest in 4 years with below average conditions. Christmas, the weeks around Christmas took the top spot, and they're going to hang on here. It looks like week ending 12 September, December 17th was the snowiest. Second snowiest was late January. Third snowiest was late February. And that fourth was Christmas week. So December was the bigger month. And now here in spring, we're actually having 7 straight snowier weeks than a year ago. So just about ending the snow forecast here. Season-to-date snowfall here in the Northeast. Now, this is some of the major cities here in the U.S. So overall, we were 27% less than last year, 43% below average, least in 11, second least in 38 years. We'll see here. There's a battle between Buffalo and Caribou, the only spots really with way above average snowfall, and it looks like Buffalo's in the top spot with 103.6, and Caribou's catching up, 129.7 inches. So we'll see. I think Caribou's got a chance here with a couple snowier weeks here, so we'll see if that can be the case. Tornadoes have obviously been very deadly here and active. Added 89 more this week at least, 66% above average in the top 13% of history here for a fast start with 370 tornadoes so far. Unfortunately, this trend likely continues again here this week, a little further south in the south central, but unfortunately, the active season's going to continue here through the spring, even into the summer. Last week's summer here, again, the world scale here, ending here today. Here in the U.S., 0.7 colder than last year, coldest in 5, 8th coldest in 38 years, below average. 32% wetter, wettest in 6, 10th wettest in 38, and way up on snow, 284% more snow than last year, most in 12, third most in 38 years. So cold, wet, snowy. Not a great week. Again, if there was a favorable spot, it would be in the southeast, but even here we've had kind of up and down conditions. But southeast would be the favored spot here for retail seasonal sales. Canada, pretty much wall-to-wall cold, coldest in 5 years, fourth coldest in 38 years. Hot spot would be up there in Russia, or was 6 degrees warmer. Maps inset left are the trends versus average. This big map is the trend versus last year. Again, how our retail customers look at the weather. More storminess here this week here in the U.S. A little bit warmer. Good news. Week prior Easter, 1.2 warmer than last year. 19th coldest in 38 years. So about average for the nation as a whole, but it's a dichotomy of two halves, really cold northwest and warm southeast. And unfortunately, that's the battleground that leads to, again, this severe thunderstorm tornadic activity. Rainfall, while maybe a hair drier, still 15th wettest in 38 years, maybe a little underdone here. Again, more severe weather there, potential a little further south, maybe this week south into Texas, into the Mississippi areas, and into Tennessee. And again, yes, unfortunately, more snow, heavy snow for the Rockies into the Plains, where they may have at least another foot of snow. We look at this. This is the national trends here of high temperatures here for March and April. Bars show the trends versus last year, so it is much, much colder March than we had a year ago. Again, coldest in 4, snowiest in 30, wettest in 38. April looks a little better here. Easter certainly a little bit of a better footprint here. Not much, but a little bit. Warmer than last year, drier than last year for April, and less snow than last year. So a more positive trend here for April to round out the Q1 for our retail customers. And then we get into next week, again, Easter week. It looks like it's going to be not too bad, 1.6 warmer than last year, warmest in 4, 14th warmest in 38 years, so above average. We'll see about that, but again, it looks like maybe this cool trend is just about to end here. Least snow in 6 years, and we'll see if it's going to be the number one driest. I think this is always underdone. But again, we're not having this extreme cold-warm clash, and that would diminish the threat for severe weather. We'll see if that can hold on here. So that'd be some good news here to get a break from the active pattern we've been in. If we just look at the world 2-week outlook overall here through the 15th of April, generally a moderating trend in the U.S. and maybe getting a little cooler there in Europe. But again, a little bit of moderation here as we get into the early April season here. So with that, folks, we hope you have a great week. We will be back here again a little later next week, but we'll talk to you next week.